Hello, divine man. Hello, divine woman. And welcome to the safe space. 4 hours I've been trying to get this recording together. And it's like the more I try to do it, the more distractions and different things try to come up. And it really just ties in this whole topic because it's like we will do anything for love, but love ourselves or put ourselves first. And yeah, for some people that can be something very triggering, but it's something that we really actually have to take a look at. Because if you're not taking the time to put your wants and desires first, how can you expect somebody else to do it? You know what I'm saying? And just in case that didn't make sense, think about it like this. I will do anything for love, but love myself or put myself first. Okay, I cannot promise that I won't sing for the rest of this chapter, but I will try. But honestly speaking, in our society nowadays, it's always about love between a man or a woman, and then with everything else that's getting publicized, man with man, woman with woman, and other genders, and all that other stuff. I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to say, in society nowadays, it's always about finding love outside of our person, right? So meeting somebody brand new and trusting them to love us the way that we need, right? Or somebody that you know and trusting them to love you how you want to be loved. There's a flaw in that story because at the end of the day, you've been alive for a certain amount of years, okay? Besides your parents, no one has known you for that long. Besides your friends, childhood friends, no one has known you that long. Besides all the people that may have been in your life from before you were even in the womb, okay? No one knows your internal thoughts unless you've shared each and every one of them with somebody. Like the moment it comes out, you're saying it. No one knows every single thought that has crossed your mind. Okay, and even if they did, no one can truly understand the depth of your emotions, your feelings. Nobody truly knows a person except for that person. Okay, and then it comes with understanding yourself, taking the time to learn yourself, your wants, your needs, your desires, yes, etc., etc. But looking at the most basic thing about ourselves, we're the ones who truly know ourselves. And as we grow older, as we start to truly understand who we are, we start to realize certain things that fulfill us, certain things that don't. You start to truly process the idea that you're human. And at the end of the day, you want love. Although there's a general definition of love, for each and every one of us, we see love differently. We process that definition differently. It shows up differently for each and every one of us. We cannot love each other the same way. Love is not a universal term. It's a universal term, but it's not. And so, I go back to that. We will do anything for love, but love ourselves or put ourselves first. To truly experience love, you have to understand that, I don't love the way other people, quote unquote, love, okay? I desire a little more. I require a little more. I need more, or I need something different. And that's okay. But for you to truly love, you have to be willing to accept that truth. You have to be willing to understand that putting yourself second to meet the needs of another person, that is not love. That is fear. And a lot of us operate in fear. A lot of us do not take the time to understand our worth, to process our worth within ourselves. We allow ourselves to be distracted by external images, external visuals, and decide to latch on to these things, never truly understanding them. You can be married to somebody for 50 years and never truly know them. Just because you tie the knot or whatever the case may be, that does not mean you know this person. You become familiar with the habits and the personality traits and the character that they show you. But there's always more that you will never know. And so when you choose to meet this person and say, I'm going to give my all to you, and you do not love yourself, you're leaving your future up to chance. And that is a very risky thing. So if we take a moment and take a step back and just allow yourself to be in this moment, listening to me and listening to yourself, do you love yourself? I'm talking about in the good and the bad. When things are going your way and you're on fire, you're reaching all your goals, do you love yourself? What about when things are going bad? When you're all alone, when you're sleeping alone, when everybody around you is in chaos, when everything around you is a mess and you are forced to be by yourself, do you love yourself? When you don't look the way that you want to look, when your curves aren't sitting the right way, when your inches aren't where you want them to be, do you love yourself? When you're looking busted, when you're looking fly, when your hair is shorter than the other side, when things are not going your way, do you love yourself? And it's easy to say yes, but honestly, with no one around, how do you truly feel? It's human nature to desire the affections, the attraction of another. And that's okay. I'm not down in that. I'm not talking down on that. Because as a human black woman, I desire the same. But at the end of the day, when we truly take a moment and take a step back and look at ourselves, are we happy with who we are, flaws and all? Can you sit alone with yourself in silence and be happy? Can you take yourself out on a date and be happy? Or do you always have to be surrounded by people? Do you always need something going on? Do you always need interactions, external interactions to be satisfied? And if so, why? Although society expresses love and presents love in an external fashion, it starts internally. How can a man and a woman truly love each other if they don't first love themselves? What is your point of reference to love when all of your role models are filled with flaws? If we put aside the fact that a lot of relationships are only showing the highlights, what are we truly basing our perception? What are we truly desiring? Is it just on the highlights, or are we speaking reality? In every connection, whether romantic, familial, any connection, there's bound to be flaws. There's bound to be disconnects. And in those moments, how are you approaching that? Based on your relationship with yourself, it can be good, it can be bad. But take a moment and truly ask yourself, am I on the right track? Am I truly aligned with myself to embrace my flaws? Am I okay with being alone? Am I okay with establishing boundaries and sticking to them? Because it's one thing to be attracted to another individual. It's one thing to say, I'm going to love you, but it's another to truly love yourself and allow that to guide your connections. Because when you don't love yourself, you'll accept any and everything. And can you really understand what that means? Any and everything? Think about the worst possible scenarios in a relationship. You probably would never let that happen, right? But on a scale, where does your current relationship lie? If you're in a relationship, where does it lie? I say all of this to say, when you allow yourself to truly love yourself, you are going from just accepting any and everything to having a gauge, like a temperature gauge. And the ultimate love, right? The ultimate love with an external connection is 100% how you love yourself in every way, doing any and everything for yourself, healing, and all of that. So, with this temperature gauge, when you start interacting with somebody, you have a measuring tool to see where this connection falls. Is it 10%? Is it 17%? Is it 25%? Is it 85%? You feel me? Now, the more you love yourself, the more each degree is expansive, is meant. But the less you love yourself, you're 100%, sad to say, it ain't shit. So when you ain't shit to yourself, people that you connect with gon' be ain't shit. But when you start to love yourself more, you're raising that bar higher. Your temperature goes up. The higher it goes, the better it is. And the more you're not gonna just take anything. If you're 100%, for example, is taking yourself out on dates, doing the things you want to do, spoiling yourself, not spoiling yourself rotten, but spoiling yourself in a way that can't nobody tell you shit. Are you really gonna accept 2% from a person who's gonna treat you like shit? Think about it. And while you think about it, I'm gonna end the video right here. I'm sending you love, peace, and light, and I hope this helps you truly think about self-love. How do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? What can you do to love yourself more? What can you do to raise that bar higher, to reach the love that you can only dream about? And I'm not talking about the highlights only. I'm talking about in the good and bad. How can you love yourself in a way that even your bad and an external connection is the best that someone else is going to experience in their own connection?